So to wrap up this module, we're going to look at a few examples through the lens of thermodynamics and Newton's law of cooling. The first being ice baths. We've touched on this a little bit earlier, cold water immersion, that you have a large temperature gradient because you can have the cold water. You have fluid flow. You also have optimal thermal conductivity with water as the medium. You're able to break up the thermal barrier when you have water circulating. All of these variables are able to optimize for the equation as well as really large surface area. So you can effectively transfer a lot of heat out of the body and into the ambient environment, which is why it's really, really effective for rapid cooling of the body and really the gold standard for exertional heat illness and immediate rapid cooling. Fans and airflow, very common. So how do these work? They help to promote convective heat loss. They increase air flow and air velocity over the skin, which is on the surface area. They also are really, really effective when you're sweating, as they help to enhance the rate of evaporative cooling. You have the sweat starting to build, airflow again coming, help to lose it up, help to have that heat dissipate off the body and into the ambient environment. There are limitations in how effective they are. There are a lot of different variables involved, but it's relatively accessible and it certainly has a positive impact as opposed to being in a very stale environment with still air. Now, going on to radiation, artificial turf is an interesting example because there are some artificial turf fields that absorb a lot of heat. And in fact, it's been found compared to natural grass that the surface temperature is often 35 to 60 degrees hotter than natural turf grass. So it can actually get very, very hot. So dark surface, the materials, it absorbs a lot of heat from the sun and then it sort of radiates that off. So this would be situations where if you're on artificial turf or you're training or playing on one of these environments, there is a greater heat load from the environment. So proactively planning either with pre-cooling or per-cooling strategies would be particularly important in this. Unfortunately, if you are in that environment, there's not a lot you can do to limit the radiative heat that's generated by the artificial turf. So instead, you want to be proactive in how you mitigate and respond to that. Finally, the last one we'll look at is clothing, insulation, also equipment, gear, depending on sport situation. So this can be a barrier to heat transfer. It can impair evaporation. Ones that are, fabrics that breathe a little bit better can help. So there's a lot of different apparel that's out there with different benefits, different environments, but it's certainly important to consider, as well as even color for if you're outside in the sun and absorbing radiation. So all of these little variables do impact how the body takes on and dissipates heat, which contribute to the overall objective of thermoregulation, staying in our optimal core temperature for performance.